Atheists. Do you ever look back at your past and just cringe at some of the things you used to believe? Or worse, at some of the things you did because of those beliefs? If you were ever religious, especially deeply religious, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just the regret of having been religious. It's the regret of staying in it too long, of defending things we should have questioned, and of wasting time, energy, and even relationships on something that, in the end, just wasn't real. When you're inside religion, it feels like everything makes sense. You have answers. You know your purpose. And if you're really invested, you even start defending the indefensible, convincing yourself it's all part of a greater plan that you can't fully comprehend. But what happens when the veil starts to lift? When those things you were so sure about start crumbling, that's when the regret creeps in. Not about leaving the faith, but about how much time and effort you spent on it in the first place. This video isn't about regretting atheism. It's about the regrets we have from our time in religion and how not leaving sooner or the things we did while in it are things we'd take back if we could. If you're still religious and feeling that little tug of doubt, maybe hearing some of these regrets will help you avoid making the same mistakes we did. Now, before I get to this list, I want to mention that I'm not claiming to speak for all atheists. This is a generalized list of my own regrets and those of fellow atheists that I've talked to. So let's dive in. Here's my list of the top 10 regrets atheists tend to have about leaving religion. Number 10, the wasted years of praying instead of doing. How many years did we spend praying for things to change instead of actually getting up and doing something? We thought prayer was the solution, right? We'd ask God for better jobs, healing from illness, or help with our relationships, believing that if we just prayed hard enough, something would magically happen. But here's the thing. Praying for a job doesn't mean you actually go out and apply for one. Praying for a miracle to heal you doesn't take away the fact that you still need medical attention. And praying for a better relationship won't fix the communication issues you're not addressing. We spent so much time on our knees hoping that divine intervention would solve everything. Meanwhile, there were actually things we could have done ourselves. And the worst part, all that time spent praying, it wasn't spent actively improving our situation. Sure, prayer might feel comforting in the moment, but action is what truly brings change. How much time have you wasted in prayer? Number 9, feeling guilty for just being human. Religion has a funny way of making you feel guilty for just being you. If you had a sexual thought, you were sinning. If you got angry, you were sinning. If you wanted to enjoy life too much, you were warned about being worldly, which, of course, is sinning. We have this constant feeling of guilt hanging over us, convinced that our natural desires were some kind of moral failures. Think about it. We were taught that even thinking about things like sex or ambition was inherently wrong, especially if they didn't line up with what the church dictated. That guilt made us suppress our desires, our feelings, and our enjoyment of life. It wasn't just about following rules, it was about the deep internalized shame we felt for doing things that are just human. Now, as atheists, we realize that our desires aren't evil. They're part of what makes us human. That guilt, it wasn't divine, it was about control. Religion uses guilt to keep people in line and to keep them coming back for forgiveness. Personally, I regret letting the church guilt me for being me for so long. How about you? Number 8, defending the indefensible. Let's talk about some of the things we've defended while we were religious, things that in hindsight are absolutely indefensible. Slavery, genocide, eternal punishment, the oppression of women and the LGBTQ+ community, and more. There was a time when we convinced ourselves that these things made sense because they were in the Bible, or because God supposedly had a higher purpose. We would twist ourselves into mental knots, justifying atrocities and trying to make sense of the nonsensical. We would hear stories about the flood wiping out entire civilizations, or about people being punished for no other reason than not believing the right thing, and we somehow made it fit. It was crazy. But when you're in it, you'll do anything to defend what you believe. Now, looking back, many of us realize we were just wrong. The Bible was used as a tool for oppression, and we were part of it. And we spent too many years defending ideas that hurt people instead of fighting for what was right. What crazy religious atrocity have you found yourself defending? Number 7, looking down on people who weren't saved. How many times did we look at people from different religions or those who didn't follow our exact path and think they were somehow less than us? It wasn't just about beliefs, it was about salvation. We were taught that only those who believed exactly what we believed were saved, while everyone else was damned to eternal punishment. This belief made us arrogant, as if we were somehow superior or better than everyone else, because we had the truth. and the others didn't. We looked down on others judgmentally, all while patting ourselves on the back for being chosen or blessed. But the reality is, we were just as much in the dark as anyone else. This wasn't about truth, it was about ego. And religion had us believing that our path was the only right one. Does that sound familiar? Number 6, giving money to the church instead of people in need. Think about all that money that we gave to the church, whether it was tithing or special offerings. We were told that giving to the church was the best thing we could do. But where did all that money go? Often it went towards expanding the church's empire, building bigger buildings, paying for pastors' mansions, and funding lavish church events. And meanwhile, real people were out there struggling, needing help. How many times did we give to a church only to see no real tangible benefits in our community? How many hungry people could have been fed with that money? How many families could have been helped? We were convinced that giving to the church was a noble act, but in reality, it often just lined the pockets of people who were already doing just fine. As an atheist, I regret every dollar I dropped in the collection plate. How about you? Number 5, missing out on science and reality. How many years did we reject science in favor of fairy tales? Religion had us thinking that evolution was a lie, that the earth was only a few thousand years old, and that the universe was created in 6 days. The more we bought into these ideas, the more we closed ourselves off from the real world. We avoided the wonder of science because it didn't fit with our beliefs. And the worst part, we didn't even realize how much we were missing. Now, as atheists, we see how vast and beautiful the universe really is, how science opens up endless possibilities, and how much we have to learn when our minds are not covered by the veil of darkness that is religion. We could have been embracing the wonder of reality all along, but we were too busy clinging to these outdated myths. Personally, my early embrace of science and science fiction, I feel, inoculated me against being heavily indoctrinated by the faith. Did early science fiction or an interest in science keep you from believing in these mythologies? Number 4, wasting time on religious events instead of living life. How many hours did we spend in church, Bible study, or choir practice thinking it was making us better people or getting us closer to God? We could have spent that time traveling, learning, growing, or simply enjoying life. But instead, we were taught to prioritize going through the motions, reciting the prayers, and participating in services that, in the end, didn't actually enrich our lives. There were so many things we could have been doing with our time. Instead, we got trapped in the cycle of religious obligation that left us feeling empty, even though we were supposed to feel fulfilled. Wasting years on religious events and gatherings that didn't add value to our lives, all because we thought it was the right thing to do. So what are your plans for Easter this year? Number 3, many atheists regret staying silent while religion harmed others. When you were a believer, did you see the church reject or shun LGBTQ+ individuals and not do anything because you were taught those people were bad and somehow deserved it? How many churches did you attend yet never say anything about how the women were silenced, oppressed, and told their place was to be submissive? How many reports of abuse against children did you wave off while still filling the pew? How many times did we accept the harm done to others because we believed it was all part of God's plan? Number 2, losing relationships over faith. How many relationships did we lose because of our religious beliefs? Family members disowned us, friends drifted away, and we shut out loved ones because they didn't believe what we believe. We were so focused on following the faith that we let our beliefs tear apart the very relationships that should have been our priority, that we should have been cultivating. And in the end, we realized our relationships were far more important than the religion we clung to. How did your faith or your lack of faith destroy your relationships? Let me know in the comments. Hey, did you know I host the Daily Atheist Morning Show here on YouTube? It's a lot more lighthearted and fun than my long form videos. I hope, people are begging for goat. The goats, I see goats. People want goats. And you're going to get some goats.
Have you sinned again? Oh, and it's bad this time. A chicken just won't do. But wait, you don't have a goat for your burnt offering. Oh, no. The Lord's wrath is upon you.
Insignificant person whose name I don't know, you have sinned. Probably. I shall smite thee.
What do you do? You're all out of goats. She left you for another man.
Fear not, my wayward child. Introducing Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles.
No goat? No problem. Just light one of these bad boys and let the sweet, savory scent of burning goat flesh rise up to the heavens.
Is that goat?
It's easy, it's fast, and deluxe models even have patented technology that produces a goat screaming sound as the wick burns.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented candles. Save a goat, burn a candle.
Father Flanagan's line of goat-scented flesh candles are part of our You Do You Jew interfaith outreach program.
When you sinned and need to atone, light a candle and avoid the stone. When the Lord requires that pungent smell, light a candle or you're going to hell.
Live, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, on with number 1. Finally, number 1 on our list. Not leaving sooner. Every regret on this list boils down to this one. If we only had known sooner. If only we had questioned earlier. If only we had walked away before we wasted so much time, energy, and love on something that wasn't real. It's not that we regret our journey to atheism, it's that we regret the years we spent not questioning and holding on to beliefs that held us back from truly living. Leaving religion wasn't easy for most of us, and it's not a decision people take lightly, but once we did it, we realized how much time we had wasted on something that didn't deserve our devotion. My biggest regret? Not leaving sooner. And letting so many years slip by in the grip of religious belief that kept me from being my true self. How about you? Looking back, it's wild to think how much religion has shaped our lives. It told us who we were, what we should value, and who we should love. But most importantly, it told us how to feel about ourselves. And when you start to see through it, when you realize just how much you were manipulated, those regrets hit hard. But here's the thing. Those regrets don't define us. We left, we woke up, and now we have the freedom to live the lives we truly want, not the lives we were told that we should want. If you're still in it, maybe some of this will resonate with you. It's not too late to step away, to live authentically. And if you're already out, well, you're not alone. We've all been there. And the best part, we're here now. And we can finally start living the way we always should have, without guilt and without shame. Just real, raw, and free. Don't let regret hold you back. The best time to leave religion was yesterday. The second best time is right now. Christians, Jesus did not die for your sins. Click here to see my video on the top 10 reasons why Jesus was not sacrificed for you. Click over here to meet my friend Durante Lamar and watch him dismantle the holy word like only an ex-pastor can. Sin safely, my friends. Take care.